Over 15% of engine failures are caused not by mechanical defects, but by the very oil drivers pour into their engines. That's right. The lifeblood of your car could actually be quietly destroying it. And the scariest part? Many of these oils are still sold in stores today, packaged with bold promises, flashy labels, and marketing tricks that make them look safe. In this video, we're exposing 9 dangerous engine oils you should never use, and the myths that convince drivers to buy them. From counterfeit bottles that sneak their way onto online marketplaces, to outdated formulas that belong in museums, to so-called high-mileage oils that could wreck a newer car, we're covering it all. If you've ever wondered why some engines die long before their time, even with regular oil changes, the answer might be hiding in the bottle. But don't worry, it's not all bad news. Along the way, I'll show you how to choose the right oil, how to spot fake products instantly, and the simple steps that protect your engine for hundreds of thousands of miles. By the end, you'll not only know which oils to avoid, you'll know exactly what to trust. So, buckle up, because what you're about to learn could save you thousands in repair bills, and maybe even your engine itself. Number 1, wrong viscosity oil. When it comes to motor oil, viscosity isn't just a suggestion. It's the most important specification your engine has. Yet, it's one of the first things drivers get wrong. Choosing the wrong viscosity is like forcing your heart to pump syrup instead of blood. Your engine simply isn't designed to handle it, and the long-term damage can be catastrophic. Every car manufacturer spends millions of dollars testing their engines with very specific viscosity ranges: 0W-20, 5W-30, 10W-40, and so on. These aren't random numbers on the cap. They're the exact flow characteristics your engine needs in both hot and cold conditions. When you pour in oil that's too thick, like using 10W-40 in a car designed for 0W-20, that oil takes too long to circulate during cold starts. The result? Critical components like camshafts, bearings, and lifters grind against each other unprotected for several seconds every single morning. Over time, that repeated metal-on-metal contact creates wear patterns, accelerates oil consumption, reduces compression, and can eventually cause complete engine failure. On the other hand, if you go thinner than recommended, you run into the opposite problem. Oil pressure drops, film strength weakens, and high heat protection disappears. This is especially dangerous at highway speeds or under load, when your engine is running at its hottest. Instead of cushioning and cooling, the oil literally breaks down under stress, leaving components exposed. And here's the kicker. Drivers often think they're upgrading by choosing a thicker oil, especially when engines start to age. But modern engines are built with extremely tight tolerances. They don't benefit from old-school tricks. That thicker oil might quiet down a noise temporarily, but it's quietly starving your system of the flow it was engineered to receive. The American Society for Testing and Materials sets strict viscosity standards that manufacturers follow, and ignoring them can shorten your engine's life by over 100,000 miles. That's the difference between a car that runs to 250,000 miles and one that needs a rebuild before it even hits 150,000. Bottom line, always follow the viscosity grade listed in your owner's manual or printed on the oil filler cap. It's not optional, it's a requirement. Your engine was designed with precision clearances and oil pathways sized for one thing: getting the right oil to the right place at the right time. Ignore that, and you're essentially gambling with the most expensive part of your car. Number 2, fake or counterfeit oils. Picture this. You find a bottle of your favorite oil online for half the price you normally pay at the parts store. The label looks identical, the cap is sealed, and the seller has glowing reviews. Seems like a steal, right? Unfortunately, thousands of drivers have learned the hard way that what they poured into their engines wasn't oil at all. It was counterfeit. Fake oils are flooding online marketplaces and even some discount retailers. They're packaged to look exactly like big-name brands, but what's inside is a cocktail of recycled fluids, diluted base stocks, or even industrial lubricants that were never meant for cars. Some tests have even found traces of cooking oil and water mixed in. These knockoffs might run through your engine for a few weeks without raising alarms. But when the stress builds, highway speeds, hot weather, heavy loads, they fail catastrophically. And here's the terrifying part. Counterfeit oils often pass basic smell and color checks. They can even test normal in quick chemical analysis. But under real-world engine conditions, they break down, lose viscosity, and leave behind sludge and metal scarring deposits. Mechanics have torn down engines after just a few thousand miles on fake oil to find bearing surfaces destroyed, pistons scored, and sludge choking vital oil passages. The American Petroleum Institute, API, works hard to certify legitimate oils. That little donut logo on the bottle isn't just decoration. It's proof that the oil passed industry standard tests. Counterfeiters skip all of this, slapping on a fake label that tricks unsuspecting buyers. And the price you saved on the cheap oil? It can turn into a $15,000 repair bill for a seized engine. So, how do you protect yourself? Stick to trusted sources. Buy oil directly from reputable auto parts stores, official brand websites, or certified dealers. Be wary of online listings that are significantly cheaper than normal, especially if the packaging looks slightly off. The label colors seem faded, or the cap seal isn't identical to what you've seen before. If it feels too good to be true, it probably is. One bottle of fake oil might be all it takes to ruin an engine that otherwise had years of life left. The scary thing is, most drivers never realize what went wrong. They just think their engine gave out early. In reality, it wasn't wear and tear. It was poison poured straight from the bottle. Number 3, non-detergent oils. If you've ever browsed the back corner of an auto parts store, you might have spotted a dusty bottle labeled non-detergent motor oil. It's usually cheaper, sometimes marked for older engines or general lubrication. Many drivers assume it's just another option, maybe even better for classic cars. But here's the truth. Non-detergent oils are dinosaurs from a different era, and using them in a modern engine is a recipe for disaster. Back in the 1930s and 1940s, engines were simple and oil technology was primitive. Non-detergent oils were the standard because engines didn't run as hot, tolerances were wide, and maintenance schedules were short. Mechanics expected to rebuild an engine every 40,000 miles, so sludge buildup wasn't considered catastrophic. It was just part of the deal. Fast forward to today. Modern engines operate at higher temperatures, use tighter clearances, and rely on complex oil passages to keep everything lubricated. Non-detergent oils lack the critical cleaning additives, detergents and dispersants, that keep combustion byproducts suspended and flowing harmlessly until the next oil change. Without them, carbon and dirt drop out of the oil and stick to surfaces inside the engine. Sludge builds up in narrow passages, starving bearings, lifters, and camshafts of lubrication. Once that happens, you're only a few drives away from total failure. The dangerous myth is that non-detergent oil is gentler or better for older engines, but even classic cars benefit from modern detergent oils. Unless you're running a museum piece on a test stand, non-detergent oil has no business inside a car engine. In fact, the Society of Automotive Engineers stopped recommending it for vehicles way back in the 1970s. That should tell you everything. So, why is it still sold? Because it has niche uses, lubricating certain types of machinery, air compressors, or break-in situations where you actually want metal-to-metal wear for a short period. But for any street-driven car, pouring in non-detergent oil is like washing your dishes with plain water. Things might look okay on the surface, but dangerous residue is building up where you can't see it. The sad part is, some drivers think they're saving money by grabbing that cheaper bottle. In reality, they're slowly choking their engine with sludge. A few dollars saved at the register can turn into thousands spent on an engine that died long before its time. Number 4, outdated API certifications. Most drivers glance at the front of an oil bottle, see the brand name, and throw it in the cart without looking closer. But what really matters is hidden in plain sight, the certification label. That tiny circle or stamp from the American Petroleum Institute, API, tells you whether the oil was engineered for today's engines or for vehicles that rolled off the line decades ago. And using an outdated oil is like trying to stream high-definition video on a dial-up connection. It simply can't keep up. Here's the deal. Motor oil is constantly evolving. Every few years, the API releases a new standard like SN, SN+, or the current SP. Each step forward adds better detergents, improved high heat stability, stronger wear protection, and compatibility with modern emission systems. These aren't cosmetic updates, they're responses to real problems found in engines. Oils with certifications like SJ, SL, or anything older were designed for vehicles built before the late 1990s or early 2000s. Back then, engines ran cooler, tolerances were looser, and catalytic converters weren't as sensitive. Today's engines, they're turbocharged, direct injected, and designed to run hotter while meeting strict emissions rules. That means they need oils with advanced additive packages and base stocks that simply didn't exist 20 years ago. So, what happens if you pour outdated oil into a modern engine? At first, maybe nothing obvious. But over time, the older formula can't handle the heat. It oxidizes faster, loses its protective film strength, and leaves behind varnish and deposits. Critical anti-wear additives are missing, so camshafts and timing chains start to wear prematurely. And those older zinc-heavy formulas that once protected flat tappet cams, in a modern car, they can actually poison catalytic converters and trigger expensive emissions failures. One reason this mistake still happens is price. Outdated or clearance stock oils often show up on shelves at a discount. Drivers think they've found a bargain. But that deal can quietly shave tens of thousands of miles off an engine's life. The safe move is simple. Always check the API service label on the back of the bottle. If it doesn't show the current spec, SP, or whatever your owner's manual lists, put it back. Oil is the lifeblood of your car, and just like medicine, the wrong formula, even if it looks the same, can do more harm than good. Number 5, high mileage oil and low mileage engines. Walk down any auto parts aisle, and you'll see rows of bottles labeled high mileage oil. The marketing sounds convincing, specially blended for vehicles over 75,000 miles, designed to reduce leaks, restore performance, and extend life. And for older engines that truly need it, high mileage oil can be helpful. But here's the trap. Pouring it into a newer or low mileage engine can actually do more harm than good. High mileage oils contain a unique cocktail of additives, seal conditioners, viscosity improvers, and reduced detergent levels that are meant to address the realities of an aging engine. Rubber seals harden over time, so these oils include chemicals that swell seals slightly to prevent leaks. They also thicken the oil a bit to reduce consumption in engines with worn piston rings. For a tired 200,000-mile commuter car, this makes sense. But when you pour the same formula into a younger engine with tight tolerances and healthy seals, you're asking for problems. The seal conditioners can cause seals to overexpand, stretching them in ways they weren't meant to. Instead of preventing leaks, they can actually create new ones. And because high mileage oils often have reduced detergent packages, intended to avoid breaking loose deposits in older engines, a newer engine doesn't get the full cleaning action it needs. Sludge and varnish can form more quickly as a result. There's another hidden risk. The viscosity improvers in high mileage oils can thicken oil under heat. That's fine if your engine is burning oil and needs extra film strength. But in a newer engine, that thicker oil may restrict flow through narrow passages, especially during cold starts. Critical parts like turbochargers, timing chains, and lifters can be starved of lubrication, accelerating wear instead of preventing it. The biggest myth is that thicker oil means more protection. Decades ago, that might have been true, but modern engines are precision-built, often with tolerances measured in microns. They are designed to run on specific viscosity grades, 0W20, 5W30, or whatever the manufacturer specifies. Thicker isn't stronger, it's slower, and in the wrong engine, it's destructive. So, when is high mileage oil appropriate? When your engine is truly high mileage, already showing signs of consumption or minor leaks, and specifically approved for it by the manufacturer. For anything else, it's the wrong tool for the job. Think of it like medicine. Just because it helps one patient doesn't mean everyone should take it. Giving your healthy engine high mileage oil is like taking a prescription you don't need. The side effects outweigh the benefits. Number 6. Diesel oil and gasoline engines. Every mechanic has heard it. Diesel oil is stronger, so it must be better for my gas engine. It sounds logical, doesn't it? Diesel engines work harder, run longer, and need extra protection, so why not give your gasoline car the same oil? Unfortunately, what seems like an upgrade can actually turn into a slow-motion disaster. Diesel oils are engineered for a completely different set of challenges. They have higher detergent levels to deal with the soot and byproducts of diesel combustion. They're loaded with additives like Z, D, DP, zinc dialkyl dithiaphosphate, which provides anti-wear protection for heavy-duty components. And they carry higher base numbers to neutralize the acids that come from diesel fuel. Sounds impressive until you pour it into a gasoline engine. Here's where the problems start. That higher detergent level? In a gas engine, it can strip away the protective deposits your engine actually needs, leading to premature wear. The high levels of zinc and phosphorus that protect diesel engines, they can poison the catalytic converter in a gas-powered car, clogging the emission system and costing thousands to replace. Even the friction modifiers are different. Diesel oils are optimized for compression ignition, not spark ignition. That means they don't provide the same fuel economy benefits, lubrication balance, or protection in high-revving gasoline engines. The oil might seem fine at first, but over time you'll notice reduced efficiency, higher emissions, and in the worst cases, accelerated wear on critical components like camshafts and timing chains. Now, there's a caveat. Some modern diesel oils are dual-rated, carrying both the API certification for diesel, like CK4, and gasoline, like SN or SP. If your bottle shows both ratings, then it's safe. But that's the exception, not the rule. Most drivers just see diesel oil and assume stronger equals better. The truth is, using non-approved diesel oil in your gasoline car is like feeding a sprinter the diet of a heavyweight powerlifter. Both are athletes, but their needs couldn't be more different. Over time, forcing the wrong formula can cripple performance and shorten lifespan. So if you're tempted to use diesel oil in your gas engine, don't. Stick with the viscosity and certification listed in your owner's manual. Your car doesn't need the heavy-duty chemistry of a semi-truck. It needs oil designed for the way it was built. Number 7, recycled oil without certification. Everyone loves a bargain. When you're standing in the aisle looking at oil, that cheaper bottle of recycled or re-refined oil can seem like an easy way to save money and help the environment at the same time. After all, recycling is good, right? The problem is, not all recycled oil is created equal. In fact, uncertified recycled oils can be some of the most dangerous fluids you could ever put in your engine. Here's the truth. When done properly, re-refining oil is an incredible process. Used motor oil is collected, stripped of impurities, treated under high heat, and restored to the same quality as virgin-based stock. Certified re-refined oil goes through the same API and SAE testing as brand new oil, meaning it meets the same standards and can protect your engine just as well. That's the good side. But then there's the dark side, the cheap recycled oils that cut corners. Instead of full re-refining, some companies simply filter the used oil, slap it in a bottle, and call it recycled. What's still inside? Contaminants like fuel residues, water, metal particles from worn bearings, or leftover additives that no longer work as intended. Pour that into your crankcase, and you're basically feeding your engine poison in slow doses. Engines running on uncertified recycled oil often show early warning signs: louder ticking, reduced fuel economy, or quicker oil breakdown. In severe cases, sludge forms much faster, oil passages clog, and vital components like camshafts or bearings start wearing out prematurely. Drivers think they're saving money at the checkout line, but weeks or months later, they're facing costly repairs. One of the biggest dangers is that uncertified recycled oil usually doesn't carry an API donut or any manufacturer approval. That missing label isn't just a detail. It's your only guarantee that the oil has been tested and proven safe. Without it, you're rolling the dice with your engine's life. The sad part? Many people buy uncertified recycled oil because of the eco-friendly pitch, thinking they're helping the planet. But true sustainability means quality control. Real re-refined oil, properly certified, is just as good as new. The bargain bin mystery oil, that's a gamble that could send your car to the junkyard early. If you want to save money and protect your engine, choose certified re-refined oil from a trusted brand. Skip the no-name bottles without proper markings. Cutting corners here isn't just risky, it can be catastrophic. Number 8, generic or store brand oils without certification. You've probably seen them sitting on the bottom shelf at your local store. Big bottles of oil with simple labels, bargain prices, and names you've never heard of. They look tempting. After all, why spend more for a well-known brand when you can save a few bucks on something that looks the same? Here's the catch. Those generic oils without certifications can quietly destroy your engine. Engine oil isn't just slippery liquid. It's a carefully engineered blend of base oils and additives, designed to withstand heat, fight wear, and keep deposits from forming. To make sure an oil can do all that, the American Petroleum Institute API and the European ACEA test and certify oils before they ever hit the shelf. Those little logos you see, the API donut or the ACEA spec numbers, are proof that the oil has passed stress tests for oxidation, sludge control, wear protection, and cold flow. Now, here's where the problem starts. Some store brand oils skip the certification process altogether. That doesn't always mean they're bad. Some are made by big-name suppliers, but just not tested under that program. The issue is that, without certification, you have no guarantee of what's inside the bottle. Maybe it's decent base oil, maybe it's blended with cheaper stock, or maybe the additive package is so weak it barely protects your engine. Engines today run hotter, use tighter tolerances, and rely on specific friction modifiers to keep things running smoothly. An uncertified oil might look fine when you pour it in, but under stress it can break down faster, fail to prevent deposits, or thin out too much at high temperatures. That leads to ticking lifters, varnished valves, or even seized bearings over time. One of the biggest traps is the price. Drivers see a gallon of no-name oil for half the cost of a trusted brand and think they've found a hidden gem. In reality, that savings might cost thousands in repairs down the line. Certification costs money, and when it's missing, it usually means corners were cut. The fix is simple. Always check the back label. If the bottle doesn't list the current API rating, like SP or the exact spec your manual calls for, don't risk it. With oil, the gamble isn't worth it. Saving $5 at the checkout counter can turn into an engine failure worth $5,000. Number 9. Using thicker oil to fix engine problems. It starts with a small issue. Maybe your car is burning a little oil between changes, or you notice a faint rattle on startup. A friend, a forum post, or even an old mechanic's tale suggests a simple solution. Just use a thicker oil. Problem solved, right? Not exactly. What looks like a clever shortcut is actually a band-aid that can speed up the very damage you're trying to avoid. Here's why people reach for thicker oil. A heavier viscosity, like switching from 5W20 to 10W40, creates a stronger film between moving parts. In an engine with worn seals or rings, that thicker oil can temporarily reduce consumption, quiet tapping noises, or even improve compression. On the surface, it feels like magic, but underneath, the engine is suffering. Thicker oil doesn't flow as quickly through the narrow passages modern engines rely on. On cold starts, the most critical moment for lubrication, the oil takes longer to reach bearings, camshafts, and lifters. That means metal is grinding on metal for precious seconds. Over thousands of starts, the wear adds up, shaving years off your engine's life. Then there's the heat factor. Higher viscosity means more friction inside the engine, and more friction means higher temperatures. Oil that runs too hot breaks down faster, leaving behind sludge and varnish that clog tiny oil passages. Add in the reduced fuel economy from thicker oil, and what seemed like a solution quickly becomes another problem. Modern engines are designed with extremely tight tolerances and precise oil flow requirements. Engineers don't recommend a viscosity grade as a suggestion. It's the result of years of testing. Deviating from it, even by one grade, changes how your engine cools, seals, and protects itself. Here's the bottom line. If your car is burning oil, knocking, or losing pressure, switching to thicker oil isn't fixing the root cause. It's just masking the symptoms while the underlying problem gets worse. A worn PCV valve, bad valve seals, or tired piston rings won't heal themselves with heavier oil. They'll only keep deteriorating. The smarter move? Diagnose the real issue. If your manufacturer recommends 0W20, stick with it. If your car needs repair, address it instead of hoping thicker oil will hold things together. Think of it like putting duct tape on a cracked radiator. It might hold for a short drive, but eventually the real damage shows. Engines don't usually die overnight. They wear down little by little, mile after mile, until one day that check engine light turns into a $4,000 repair bill. And more often than not, it starts with choices drivers make about their oil. Using the wrong viscosity, grabbing a fake bottle online, trusting uncertified brands, or trying to patch problems with thicker oil. These shortcuts may seem harmless in the moment, but they quietly chip away at your engine's lifespan. The truth is simple. Oil is your engine's lifeblood. Choosing wisely means your car can run strong for 200,000 miles or more. Choosing poorly can cut that in half. That's why understanding these hidden dangers matters. You don't need the most expensive oil on the shelf. You just need the right oil, the one your manual calls for, backed by certifications, and trusted by mechanics who actually care about keeping your car on the road. So the next time you're in the aisle or scrolling online, don't just look at the price tag. Flip the bottle, check the certifications, and make sure what you're buying is built to protect, not destroy. That small bit of attention today could save you thousands tomorrow. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had an oil mistake cost you money? Or maybe you learned a hard lesson about cheap oil the hard way? Drop your story in the comments. I guarantee it'll help someone else avoid the same trap. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more automotive truth, and share this with someone who does their own oil changes. It might just save their engine,